This is Miss Anna, and before I say a single word, I need you to understand something. I am a woman, and I am about to tell you the truth about women. Not the version we perform on social media, not the version designed to make us look good. The raw, uncomfortable, honest truth about something women do to men every single day. Something that quietly destroys the one thing you need most in a relationship. And most of us don't even realize we're doing it. If you clicked on this video, something already resonates. Maybe you felt it, but couldn't name it. Maybe you've lived it and still haven't fully processed it. Maybe you're in the middle of it right now, and something in your chest has been tight for months, and you don't quite know why. By the end of this video, you will know why. Stay with me, because what I'm about to say took me years to understand. And it cost real men real pain before I finally saw it clearly enough to speak on it. So turn up your volume. This is for you. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly respected by the woman in your life? Not tolerated, not managed, not appreciated in the way you appreciate a useful appliance. Respected, seen, valued for exactly who you are. Not who she's trying to shape you into, not who she needs you to be for her own comfort, but genuinely, deeply respected as a man. Take a moment with that question, because for a lot of men, and I mean good men, present men, men who are trying, the honest answer is painful, and that pain is exactly what this video is about. Here's what I keep witnessing. A man enters a relationship. He's not perfect. No one is, but he is genuine. He is present. He works hard. He shows up. He loves her in the quiet, consistent way that doesn't always make for a good Instagram caption, but is the very foundation of a real life together. And slowly, not all at once, but slowly, she begins to dismantle him, not with cruelty, not intentionally. She doesn't wake up in the morning and decide to destroy his confidence. She doesn't sit down and plan to make him feel small, but she does it anyway. Through the sighs when he makes a decision she wouldn't have made. Through the corrections in front of other people. Through the comparisons to other men, her friend's husband, her co-worker, her ex. Through the way she rolls her eyes when he speaks. Through the way she manages him like a project instead of loving him like a partner. Through the constant subtle message delivered 100 different ways. You are not quite enough. And here's what breaks my heart. Most of the time, she has no idea she's doing it. The one thing men need most. I've talked to enough men and been honest enough with myself about what I've witnessed in women, including myself, to say this clearly. The deepest need most men carry into a relationship isn't money. It isn't physical. It isn't even love in the abstract sense. It's respect. It is the feeling of being seen as capable, as worthy, as the kind of man whose judgment can be trusted, whose presence matters, whose effort means something. Respect is to a man what emotional security is to a woman. It is the oxygen of his identity inside a relationship. Without it, something in him begins to quietly die. He doesn't always have the words for it. He won't always tell you. He'll get quieter. He'll withdraw. He'll spend more time at work or with his friends or alone. He'll stop sharing his thoughts because the last several times he did, they were corrected or dismissed or greeted with that look. He won't leave immediately. He'll endure. Men are remarkable at enduring, but something essential will leave long before he does. And she'll wonder why he's so distant. She'll complain that he doesn't open up anymore. She'll say he's emotionally unavailable, and she won't connect it. She genuinely won't connect it to the 1,000 small moments where she made him feel like less. Let me tell you where this starts. Because this doesn't begin in the relationship. This begins long before. It begins with a culture that told us that having high standards meant finding fault, that being strong meant being critical, that independence meant never needing to honor a man's leadership. It begins with the subtle, pervasive message that men are problems to be managed, that their emotions are inconvenient, that their needs are negotiable, that their pain is less real, less urgent, less worthy of tenderness than ours. We absorbed this. We didn't question it. We brought it into our relationships like a piece of furniture we'd had so long we forgot it was even there. And it is quietly wrecking the men who love us. Here's what it looks like in real life. She corrects him in public. He says something at dinner with friends, and she interrupts. Actually, that's not how it happened. And the table moves on, but he doesn't. Something closed in him at that table. Something small, but real. She compares him, not always out loud. Sometimes it's just my friend Sarah's husband planned this whole surprise trip, said with a particular kind of wistfulness. He hears it. He hears what's underneath it. Why aren't you that? She manages his emotions. He comes to her with something that's bothering him, not asking to be fixed, just wanting to be heard. And she immediately pivots to solutions, or worse, to why his feelings aren't quite rational. He stops coming to her. She loses the most intimate part of him. She withholds respect conditionally. She'll be warm and affirming when he performs well. When he earns enough, plans something impressive, does what she expected. But let him fail. Let him stumble. Let him be uncertain. And the warmth evaporates. He learns that her respect is a reward, not a given, and something in him stops trusting her with his real self. She undermines his decisions, not every time, just often enough that he stops making them. He starts deferring to avoid conflict. She then complains he has no backbone. She doesn't see that she trained it out of him. And here's the part that really hurts. When women do this, when we chip away at a man's sense of respect and worth inside a relationship, we tell ourselves we're helping. I'm just keeping him accountable. Someone has to maintain standards. If I don't push him, he won't grow. I just want the best for him. But growth that comes from being made to feel small is not growth. It's survival. And a man in survival mode inside his own relationship is not a partner. He is a prisoner counting down the days. The men who thrive, who become more, who grow into their fullness, who show up with their whole hearts. They do it inside relationships where they feel safe, where they are respected not as a performance incentive, but as a baseline, where their woman looks at them and the message she communicates through her words, her body language, her daily choices is, I chose you, I trust you, I'm proud of you, you are enough. That man, he will move mountains for her. He will become more than either of them imagined. Not because she demanded it, because she believed it first. I have to be honest about my own failures here, because I'm not standing outside this story pointing fingers. I have been this woman. I have corrected men I loved in front of people and told myself I was just being honest. I have compared and sighed and managed and withheld, all while genuinely believing I was a supportive partner. It took years and some painful mirrors before I understood what I was actually doing. I was protecting myself. I was controlling what I could control because vulnerability frightened me. I was preempting disappointment by never fully trusting him to be enough. I was keeping him slightly off balance so I could feel slightly more secure. And I called it standards. It wasn't standards. It was fear. And it cost me more than I want to admit. So why does she do it without realizing it? Because she learned it. She watched her mother manage her father. She grew up in a culture that portrayed men as bumbling and women as the competent ones who hold everything together. She had relationships that hurt her and built walls, and those walls don't come down cleanly. They come into the next relationship with her, whether she invited them or not. She's not evil. She's not malicious. She is a wounded person doing wounded person things to someone she probably genuinely loves. But love without respect is not partnership. It is possession. And the man on the receiving end of that dynamic knows the difference, even when he can't articulate it. What you deserve to know As a man, you are allowed to need respect. That is not weakness. That is not fragility. That is not being too sensitive. It is being human. You are allowed to communicate it, not with anger, not with ultimatums, but clearly, honestly, with the confidence of a man who knows his own worth. The way you spoke to me in front of your friends hurt me. I need you to treat me as your partner, not your project. And you are allowed to evaluate whether what she offers matches what you need, because a relationship where you are chronically disrespected is not a relationship that is serving you. Regardless of how much you love her, regardless of history, regardless of how good she can be on the good days. The good days do not cancel out the slow erosion of your dignity on the ordinary ones. And to the women who are watching, I see you. I know you love him. I know you don't intend to diminish him. First, know you are carrying your own wounds and your own fears and your own unrealistic expectations inherited from a culture that never prepared any of us for what real love actually requires. But I need you to hear this. The way you make him feel about himself inside your relationship is your responsibility. Not entirely, not exclusively. He has work to do too, but the respect you offer, or withhold, shapes who he becomes in your presence. And if he is shrinking, if he is quieter than he used to be, if the light in his eyes when he looks at you has dimmed, ask yourself honestly what role you have played in that, not to punish yourself, but to change, because a man who feels genuinely respected by the woman he loves, he will give you everything. He will show up in ways that will surprise you. He will be softer and stronger and more present than you believed possible. That is not a fairy tale. That is what men become when they are safe. Give him that safety. This is the truth no one says. Women destroy the one thing men need most, not out of hatred, but out of habit, out of fear, out of patterns inherited and wounds unexamined, and a culture that never told us that honoring a man is not the same as diminishing yourself. It is not weakness to respect your partner. It is the bravest, most generous thing you can offer another human being. And it might be the one thing standing between the relationship you have and the relationship you both actually deserve. Drop your experience in the comments. Men, have you felt this? Have you tried to express it and been dismissed? Have you watched yourself go quiet inside a relationship you once entered with your whole heart? And women, have you recognized yourself in any of this? What did it take for you to see it? I want to hear from all of you. If this reached something real in you, subscribe, because this channel exists for one reason: to tell the truth about relationships that the comfortable version of love stories never tells. The truth is harder, and it is the only thing that actually helps. I'm Miss Anna, and I'll see you in the next one.